Rocks. I am Ref Marsh. This is Kevlar.
Yeah. I don't know.
You're gonna introduce yourself next time. That went horrible. You got to do it now. Let's see. We'll be getting to it here in just a second. Let's get our glasses ready, our drinks ready. What do we got today?
This week's flavor, Blender Smash, Crown Royal,
I thought it was Blender Smash.
Mash. Like the show Mash?
I thought it was Smash.
Smash.
Yeah, I was really looking forward to Smash Whiskey. You will notice the incredibly large absence of Clump, if you are familiar with the show. Clump's not here today. He said it was so bad this week, there's nothing to go over.
It's pretty true. 100% accurate.
Yeah. So, here we go.
Over the bag.
Spill it on the bag?
Little liquid on the side.
So here's to Clump, our fallen foe. Flow?
Slow.
Well, in his case, it's a fallen flow. He spills a lot. I'm going to let a few people get in, and we'll recap a little bit there.
Any questions from last week's show? Anyone? Yeah, this is good.
Yeah, this is good. This feels smooth. Blender Smash, Crown Royal, tan bag. We're looking for a sponsorship from Crown Royal or a cease and desist. So if you know anybody, push it along.
I thought there was a number. It's the Blender series.
It's got a sticker on there. It looks like it can be numbered.
Yeah, but
Still no number, huh?
just says aged in American oak. You couldn't tell by the...
A Canadian whiskey aged in American oak.
It's mash.
That's appropriation right there. That's whiskey appropriation. Make sure everything looks good here too. If anybody's got a hard time hearing us, let us know. We'll start pretty slow. We'll get into NXT today. There's only a couple of matches today, not a lot. There was a beatdown on the Viking Raiders by the Forgotten Sons. They are now calling them the Viking Raiders on NXT, which is nice for continuity's sake and new for continuity's sake. It opened up with Bianca Belair versus Mia. I can never get her last name right, so I don't want to mess it up. Is it Shafir? I don't know. I'm pretty bad. I thought it started with an M. I'm awful with it, but she's awesome. They're both great. It was a good match. Did you get a chance to watch the whole thing?
No.
Good.
Dinner for the youngins.
For the kids.
Yep.
It was a really good match. Told a good story. I did like the she's pretty heelish, and I think it's like a weird kind of heel because it's like she comes off a lot like a good guy in a lot of senses of like I'm undefeated, I'm good. Like she doesn't talk like she gets in their face, but she's not like a traditional heel. But then like she uses her hair as a weapon and as leverage. And to me, that's always going to be a bit of a heel move if you're not keeping things down the middle. But it was good. I mean, she wrapped her hair around the second rope when she went for the pin as a way of getting leverage, which was pretty cool. Usually you see people put their feet up. She wrapped her hair around it. Clever.
Still want it to be a foreign object.
Her hair?
Yeah.
I'd like to see her in a hair match down the line.
Yeah.
I think that'd be fun if someone was like, I'm tired of you using this hair thing as a lasso or some shit and do a hair match. But we'll see. Maybe never.
She said, I want her to be pinned with it.
Be pinned by it, someone holding it down.
Somebody on the outside of the apron. Ref can't see. She can't move her head.
That'd be good. Yeah, she goes to kick, but her shoulders stay down. Let's see. Outside of that, the other match was Raul Mendez or Menudo or Mendez, I think, against Riddick Oss, I believe his last name. Riddick Ott, I think his last name is. Riddick is a lot like Rick Martel. Very similar. He's really big. He was out there with a lot of like keeping hydrated. He had a water bottle. He had like a little muscle relaxer thing where he's all like trying to work out his. Yeah, he's like. Ugh.
I saw it at the end of the match. I couldn't figure out what that was.
Yeah, he used it early on. He starts going like this with his shoulder, and he goes over and like massages it, and he goes, "All right, okay." Like he's like high maintenance and stuff. So it was pretty cool. I like seeing stuff like that. And the match itself was really good. He was surprisingly skilled in the ring for someone who came in pretty gimmick heavy. You know what I mean? Like he came in with like I very much this is my character. Usually, if I see a lot of character early on, I don't expect a lot of moves till later on. Yeah. He had a lot. He had a lot of both. So really cool.
I thought both of them looked good in that match.
They both looked really good. After that, I think the only other match was Adam Cole versus Matt Riddle.
Yeah, I saw that one.
That was a good match.
Yeah.
Surprisingly good. It didn't really win me over on either one of them.
I'm leaning towards Riddle more
for sure.
More. His gimmick. His whole.
Yeah.
He's like the stoner cartoon character.
Yeah, like was it Fast Times? Spicoli?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a very Spicoli vibe to him, but he was pretty intense in the match, which was nice.
Chicken from Surf's Up. Have you seen that?
No. I don't watch a whole lot of children's shows. My bad.
It's pretty good. Actually, I think they did a wrestling spin-off.
Oh, they did. Yeah, it was on the shop for a while.
Yeah.
WrestleMania Surfs Up or some weird thing. Yeah. Penguins. The Penguins could be the refs. That'd be good.
That'd be funny.
Yeah. Let's see. Outside of that, I was gonna refresh everything here because I'm not seeing a whole lot. All right. Still need some people to trickle in. Outside of. At the end was the Roderick and Adam Cole getting into like a shouting match again. So we could be seeing that story move somewhere pretty soon here where they break up the only faction they have left.
Yeah. Did the what was that? Was it Worlds Collide? Battle Royal, was that for a future title shot?
I don't know what it was for, to be honest. They just said he won it. I think that's possible. They said that. There definitely was, when I tuned it off, they were definitely playing something else where they talked about for something. There was some kind of tournament for a title, but I don't think it was the Battle Royal for a title shot. But if it was, then yeah, that could be a cool way to move that along. But Adam Cole doesn't have any title right now. Which would then just make him more mad about, or make Adam Cole even more mad about Strong winning it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Looking what?
They can spin it that Adam Cole's jealous of Strong without a title.
For sure, and they've been kind of hinting at that a little bit, where Adam Cole's been saying like snooty things to him, where it's Roderick doing good or doing something that's for them, and Adam Cole gets all like, who are you? You're follow me, and you're not the good one. Like it's this real petty kind of attitude. So.
And I kept hearing Strong say I'm done.
Is that what he said?
A few times, yeah.
All right.
So I was like, is he done with the faction? Is he done with the argument?
Yeah.
I don't know what he's done with.
No. The crowd was super into it. Both the after effects and the match itself. Yeah, I'm really ready for a change for Matt Riddle. I think he could change the whole thing around. He was really impressive in that match.
Yeah, I mean his moves are good. It's just his gimmick.
His music also. I hate his music, and his entrance art stuff. I hate it. Yeah.
Did you love the sandals?
Ugh. Sandals. Why did he even come out with those? But other than that, there wasn't a lot going on with as far as the storylines. They said Kushida's gonna be back next week, and they said the Viking Raiders are defending their titles next week. I think against the Forgotten Sons. But I thought Riker, the main one, I thought he was injured. But they filmed all this stuff so far back. Who knows? We'll see. Outside of that, that would bring us to Raw. Bring us to Raw. So we still don't have any of our usuals, but we'll get into it. They'll come around. Oh, and so this Raw kind of actually started on Twitter before it started on Raw, because a couple days prior, Roman tweets out, I have some unfinished business on Raw. I'm going to be there. Still my yard. And then WWE puts out a response to it saying that Roman Reigns will not be on Raw. He is not authorized to be there, and that they're not going to allow it. And then his response to that was something along the lines of, I do what I want. And then it was like, what? And he's like, I'm going to, or he laughed at him and was like, just have my music ready. I'm opening up the show. Mm-hmm. So it opens up instead with Vince coming out, who before he even says a word immediately gets interrupted by Roman. And they kind of just were talking smack to each other, not really seeming about anything. Like, I didn't understand, like, his unfinished business wasn't really brought up. Yeah. Like, so I don't really know where it was trying to go. But shortly after that, Daniel Bryan came out, and he was talking about meditating, being in solitude, that he was an intellectual peer with Vince, and that no one else would understand like they do. I thought that was cool that he's like aligning himself with Vince that way. Mm-hmm. And then while that's going on, Kofi comes out and cuts a promo on Daniel Bryan, which is pretty intense, really good, and a lot of Daniel Bryan stuff being like, you're a fluke, you shouldn't be doing this, shouldn't be that, and then he just kind of goes, and yet here I am. And it was cool. And then after that, Drew McIntyre comes out and challenges Roman to a match, and Vince says that how great...
He's a genius.
Yeah, he's a genius, and he's going to make 2 WrestleMania rematches, Roman and Drew, and then Kofi and Daniel Bryan. Mm-hmm. Those are...
3 of the 4 are on SmackDown.
3 of the 4 are on SmackDown to begin with. Kofi and Daniel Bryan could happen on any given SmackDown, so I don't know why it had to happen on Raw storyline. And
the whole wild card thing.
Yeah, but he doesn't bring up the wild card thing till later, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, he does during that one, because that's when Kofi says, you tell yourself whatever you need to tell yourself. Yeah, and so he comes up with this wild card notion of 3 or 4 people. At first it's 3 people from Raw can show up, from SmackDown can show up on Raw, and then another up to 3 can go to the other one sometimes, but not all the time. Just really blurring the line of the brand split.
Yeah, big time. It didn't make any sense, and it's almost at that point where I was almost already checking out the entire episode. I was like, this is what I have to look forward to, some SmackDown.
Watching SmackDown on... I wasn't so impressed with Roman and Drew that I thought I wanted to see it again. Yeah. And it didn't end in such a fashion where I thought it was unfinished business. It didn't feel like, and it didn't even sound like the way they were talking back and forth, like there was truly unfinished business between the two of them. Drew didn't say you barely got that win or anything. He just says, I can beat you again. And it's like, it just felt weird and forced.
It almost feels like this week was supposed to be Payback. Like,
or the Backlash?
Backlash, that's what
I could see that.
Since they got rid of it, throw it on Raw and SmackDown, and
we got to have our rematches somehow. I could see that.
Bear Nanigans says nothing about Raw is fun or was fun.
Oh, yo. Yeah. Raw was a long show. I do believe that's Clump. He said Daniel Bryan had the best line in the opening. What line are you talking about in the opening segment? Again, for those of you just tuning in, Clump refused to come today because he said there's nothing to review. Wrestling was awful this week and stayed home. That's my story.
Can't fault him for it.
Yeah, it was hard to argue. I didn't think that I wanted to see Roman and Drew again. I wasn't excited about that. Kofi and Daniel Bryan again, I thought was going to be cool and was going to be good. And it turned out to be a good match, but it just had no place on Raw.
Yeah, should have been on SmackDown.
So we're either getting rid of the brand split or we're not, and you're really super blurring the lines at that point. But as that comes to a close where he's saying that we're going to have 2 WrestleMania rematches, AJ Styles comes out. So then AJ cuts a promo with Vince where he's talking about his friends. Kept talking about maybe his friends can go to SmackDown, and I was like, ooh, AJ's friends. I know who
from
he's...
SmackDown.
Well, he said maybe some of my friends here.
Oh, yeah, friends and I can go to SmackDown.
Yeah,
right.
And I was all like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
But let's see. And then Seth comes out, cuts a promo on AJ, and Vince pairs them in a tag team. against Bobby Lashley and Baron Corbin. I mean, the promos were okay. I'm not all that excited by Seth. There's not a lot of stuff that he's saying or doing that's making me think like, yes, this is the guy who should be carrying the show.
Yeah.
Also, it makes me wonder if they feel that he's the guy who should be carrying the show if 2 weeks after the shakeup, they bring out 3 people from the other show to open the show.
Yeah.
And then they have 2 other people from Raw coming out, and on top of that, Vince, before we even see Seth. Or prior to Seth winning the championship and such, and when Roman was the champion, he opened the show every single week.
Yeah.
They believed in him. Whether or not we wanted that or believed in him was not that wasn't the discussion.
Yeah.
They believed in him because he opened the show every week. That's how we knew. We're not seeing Seth a lot. We're not seeing him come out early. He was already kicked down to the second segment, but he was on the first match, which was over half an hour into the show at this point.
Yeah, it was tough to get through.
It was.
Not a lot held my attention. It was just flat, from like as soon as they started.
Yeah, it was pretty. It just felt awkward from the beginning.
Yeah.
It was all like, what a fun episode of Smackdown we're gonna have on Raw tonight.
Yeah.
In the match, though, I mean, the match was pretty decent. I was really hoping they would use it as a chance to turn AJ. It could have been a shorter match, I think, ultimately.
Yeah.
AJ could have gone total heel on it, where I thought that when Seth was going to go tag him, he was going to jump down.
Jump off and walk off.
Walk off, maybe, or maybe just say no and then get back on the apron and, like, mess with Seth.
I'm not ready yet.
I'm not ready. Like, oh, no, I got to stretch. And then, like, do a whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately, they were going back and forth. They were actually being a pretty good team together. AJ does the phenomenal forearm at Corbin, who moves, and Seth's in the way. And AJ just kind of looks at it, says, oh, well, and walks out.
Yeah, I'm done.
Yeah, Corbin picks up Seth and dazes his ass and gets the pin, which they made a big deal of. Corbin pinning the Universal Champion.
It's a future title shot, right?
Yep, that's what that's going to lead into, I'm sure. Can't wait for Baron Corbin and Seth to have a rivalry.
Great Balls of Fire, too.
How boring can 2 people be? And then be like, let's pair them together.
Yeah.
The 2 most boring people in the entire industry. And we're like, let's throw them together. This is going to be good. They're going to create fire.
So much chemistry there.
Yeah. Let's see. After that, it shows Miz waiting for Shane outside of his dressing room. They cut back to that a couple of times throughout the show. I'm really not interested in Miz and Shane.
It should have ended at Mania.
It was done.
The only thing I'm excited about is this is the first time we've seen a cage match in a while.
Yeah.
Outside of the Elimination Chambers and Hell in the Cells.
Yeah, the gimmick cage match for a regular steel cage match.
We haven't seen a cage match in a while.
It's been a while.
So I'm like, okay, that's cool. And then you think about it, and okay, Miz and Shane are in it.
Yeah.
Don't care. They should have been over a long time ago. But
let's see. I see there's a few people look a bit new. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to follow. You can turn off notifications. We just like followers.
If you have any questions or want to chime in?
Yeah, absolutely. Chime in, talk, derail us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really done with Miz and Shane. There's nothing happening in that rivalry that's of any interest to me. The idea of a cage match is cool, but I'd almost rather it with someone else. Like, I don't know. But
Roman
I
and
do
Drew.
like, put Roman and Drew in there. At least watch one of them climb. Yeah, that would be cool.
The only thing that would make it even a little more, interesting, if it was the old blue steel cage.
That's not coming back.
I know. It needs to.
You know why they got rid of it? You know who was in the last one with it?
Somebody died.
No. What? Jesus. The last steel cage match with the big blue was Vince McMahon versus Stone Cold.
Mm-hmm.
Vince McMahon in that match was like, oh my God, this cage is horrible. And then said, we're never using that again.
Like the boss has to experience it for it to be like, all right,
It's why the ring changed. If you go back and watch 1, 2, 3 Kid versus like Razor and stuff, you see Razor just like slam Kid down. And you don't see, the ring doesn't even wobble.
Really?
Just, and just like the whole thing just doesn't move at all. And so once Vince McMahon started taking bumps in the ring started changing. they got more padding, they got a little more give, they got bounce to it. Like all that stuff changed because Vince had to learn how to bump. Yeah, and then he was in there for the Blue Cage one time, and it's like, no, this is horrible. I can't believe people do this. And all the rest of the back's like, that's terrible.
I'm glad you made me do that, boss.
Yeah. So that's why right after that was the one with the give to it. So after that, Sami Zayn comes out and cuts a cool promo. But then he gets interrupted by Braun. I do like the reactions that Sami was having to Braun.
Yeah, the shocked and...
Yeah, the shock. They're like,
go,
I'm tough. And then all of a sudden, like, fuck it.
Yeah, I'm out.
Yeah. Braun does eventually chase Sami to the back, throw Sami into a dumpster, which gets picked up by a trash truck. And so I'm pretty sure that meant Sami was dead.
Yeah. And then he shows up the next night.
Yeah, as soon as I put that in my note for thing. As soon as Sami's like, Sami Zayn's music hits, Sami's not dead.
Yeah.
I was all like, oh, that's a murder.
Yeah.
Because you hear like the trash compacting. You're like, well, that was that.
But a little voiceover of Sami.
Yeah.
Ah!
Yeah. Help! Help!
It smells like Kentucky in here. Something like that.
See, Baranagan says that it feels really desperate that there's so much talent and they can build people and stories like they do in NXT, but it feels like the main roster, they rely on 10 people specifically. Yeah, I mean, that's the problem, I think, right, is they're not building talent. They have the largest talent pool of a long time with some of the best talent they've ever had, and they just don't seem to know how to make any of them stars right now.
Yeah.
Pulling from the other one. Partway through, like, the opening segment, Michelle turns to me and she's all like, it feels like they're super desperate for ratings and just begging people to tune in, and so they just put everyone on one show.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's what the rumors were saying, and I did not tell her that. So it's becoming obvious to people who don't even read the stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Oh, and it goes back to before the brand split where we saw Roman and Cena and all the big names on each show every week.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what they did this week, and I didn't like it. Like, it sucked.
Yeah, we saw the same show twice almost.
We didn't see a lot of people that we've been seeing on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
And just hated it.
Yeah. Barnanigans asks, where's the bearded bald dude with glasses? He's talking about Klump. Klump refused to come in today because he said, if you watched wrestling this week, then you know there's nothing to go over. That's the kind of guy he is. He's a scumbag. Trash pail. Cheers to fuck that guy. He'll be back next week, probably. Good friend. Good guy.
If he's not kicked off the show.
So my only big concern about, besides Sami being murdered on TV, was that we're back to Braun and Sami.
Yeah, it felt weird.
We saw that a couple years back, and it was interesting in the way that they played it out back then, but it didn't need to be revisited. I don't know where you're going to go with it. It's going to make me excited about it.
No, I mean, we talked about it the last week. Where do you go with Sami and all the great promos he's been cutting, and then
he's amazing.
Yeah, and then Braun just shows up and all right, I'm gonna throw him in a dumpster. Doesn't say 2 words, I don't think.
Yeah, how are you gonna have a dude that skilled on the microphone against a guy like Braun? It's gonna make Braun look bad, but Braun's the one who has to beat up the little dude. So then you make the skill of Sami look off. Like the pairing doesn't work.
Yeah.
Let's see. After Sami was murdered, Lucha House Party came out and had a match against a couple of jobbers. 2 of the jobbers disappeared after the first tag. They were just gone. I don't remember anyone be knocking them off the apron or anything, but they were just gone. And they got a pin really quickly, and then they moved on to a Make-A-Wish commercial. I don't know what that was about, apart from trying to like reestablish the reputation for the Lucha House Party, because they've been losing a lot to the Viking Raiders, but I don't think it was necessary.
Well, there was a couple.
It felt like a waste of time.
Jobber matches this week.
Yeah.
Between the shows and.
Yeah, we'll get through those. Felt like a waste of time. There was a cool moment in that Make-A-Wish commercial, though. If you noticed, the kid was sitting there getting something signed by Trish Stratus, and all of a sudden turns over and goes, and it's Ronda Rousey, and it was hard to hear, but I think she, from what I heard, because the second time I heard, I was like, maybe she's not, but it sounded like she goes, "Oh, you know who I am?" As a little smirk, and then the kid like lost her mind or lost his mind, and then gets the hug and
I
the sign.
saw that. And it's Make-A-Wish commercials.
Yeah, it was nice. And it made me, I mean, not that I don't have respect for Ronda, but not seeing her on TV for a while, you kind of forget about her for a minute. And you remember the stuff that she's still doing for the company, that still has a huge impact.
Yeah, oh yeah.
She's definitely a good person,
Yeah.
regardless of any of the mean things we may have said throughout the shows. She's a good person. She means
Maybe you. I've never said a mean thing about Ronda.
Well, yeah, because you're physically afraid of her, but I want her to physically hurt me. There's the difference. Bernanigan says the jobbers look like the revival to him. You could have just used the revival then. That's how you've been using him anyways. Yeah.
Oh, except.
Let's see. After that, Lacey left an invitation for Natalya, Naomi, and Dana to attend her match ringside with formal attire. And they said the invitation smelled like peach cobbler.
She's from the South.
Yeah.
Southern Belle.
I guess so. I thought it was weird.
Yeah.
It was weird. It was really nice to see Natalya, Naomi, and Dana having some airtime together and talking, and it coming off so well. Very fluid, very natural. Didn't sound overly scripted. It may not have been scripted at all. I would believe it if it wasn't. If it was, then they pulled off what they were supposed to really well.
Yes.
Let's see. After that, Ricochet came out for a match against Robert Roode for his spot in the Money in the Bank. Robert Roode said on Twitter or in a video somewhere or something, said that he beat Ricochet and deserved his spot. So if Ricochet then challenged him, said, "I'll put my spot up on the line. If you can beat me again, you get the spot." Ricochet does win. Roode does a really sick spine buster in it, where this was just like my favorite moment in the match, where he does this amazing spine buster, super Arn, slams him down, and Ricochet pops up, just like he's dead. Robert Roode grabs him by the face, pushes him down, and then pins him. It was so smooth, so quick. I was like, that's fucking good.
And it just goes back to the talent pool.
Yeah.
They have the talent.
Oh, you got.
Everyone has it. They just don't show it enough.
They're just not doing They're not doing the right stuff with him. I don't know where you're going to go with Robert Roode right now. I did think when they were first doing the match, I didn't know why they were doing the match, and I really hoped it wasn't a whole Ricochet needs his win back business, because I said last week when he lost, it was a loss he could move forward from without issue.
Yeah.
He was then put in that match.
Yeah.
It was fine. We didn't need that kind of follow-up. Yeah. Robert could easily have gone on to win other matches with other people instead of having to come out and immediately lose one.
Yeah.
But again, I don't know if this loss is going to hurt Roode either way. It was a great match.
It was at least something cool that they spun off of it. Like, okay, I'll put my Money in the Bank spot on.
Yeah.
Excuse me. You beat me. I'll prove that I can beat you. So it was probably one of the very few things that was good on Raw.
Yeah, great match on there. That doesn't have feelings or anything, so when you say excuse me to it, it doesn't do anything.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Bernanigan says at least the invitation didn't smell like curried favors. Really, that's what Vince's office must smell like.
Should have washed away it with some peach moonshine.
No peach moonshine. All right, after that, we'll get to that promo. After that, Mysterio and his son are backstage talking. Dominic walks off and Samoa Joe follows him.
Which was pretty good, actually.
It was really cool. It was like a Hey Wendy moment.
Yeah.
Michelle asked, what is he doing? And I was like, well, so far as we have with Samoa Joe's history, he raped AJ's family. He's probably going after Dominic now, so we'll see how this goes.
Welcome to the Samoa Joe penitentiary.
Yeah. Joe. I do think it was funny. During the AJ Samoa Joe rivalry, my girlfriend asked several times, I don't understand why people don't cheer for Samoa Joe. He's so good. I was like, well, he broke into AJ's house when his wife was alone with the kids. It's hard to cheer that. I agree he's skilled otherwise.
The long one.
This is a long one, yeah. I think the thing that makes it most frustrating is that there feels like no desire to build the story over time. these characters could do so much to change, and they change things so rapidly. Exactly, they're not letting it draw out, and at the same time, they're rushing to a point in the storyline and then holding still without doing anything. Someone who brought this up in an interview and got a lot of flack for it, and I believe to be still true, Sasha Banks. She said in an interview that she was really upset that they had so many pay-per-views so close together, they didn't have time to build a good story that made people truly care over time. So when the match happened, it was a huge payoff, that it was like rushing from story point to story point or through a story entirely and moving out. They do have less pay-per-views this year, which is good. Hopefully they're able to utilize that time, but it doesn't look like they are. They get to the point where it's like, this is our storyline, and then 3 weeks in a row, they do the same thing over and over again until the pay-per-view for your payoff, instead of letting that story grow a little more fluidly over a longer period of time. They get like, you know what I mean? Like they'll do a thing where
rush to stop.
Yeah, this is where we're at, and now we're going to repeat ourselves every week, so you just remember this is where we're at. Like Seth Rollins' promos with Brock Lesnar were all the same for over a month. No need to hear that. Change what you're saying, or put a stipulation on the line or something. Make that story grow. Have someone come out and interrupt and take part of it. There was not a lot of that, and they just don't do a lot of that. And I do wish they'd spent more time on each promo, or each storyline for each character. And then you can at that point stagger your pay-per-view matches. You know what I mean? We don't have to have Samoa Joe versus Rey Mysterio 3 pay-per-views in a row.
Also on SmackDown.
And also on SmackDown and Raw. If you had the story arc growing over time, you can have one, miss one, have it revisited slightly, have him start to build another story with someone else. Mysterio gets involved. Now we're back to Mysterio and Joe again. Why are you being a thorn in my side? Like, let it be.
We have unfinished business.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
How much cleaner is the house without Clump there?
Well, there's no liquid on the table or floor yet.
Yeah, Jishi agreed. Yeah. It is way cleaner without the funk of the clump. That's what we say. Yeah, no dripping clumps.
Not yet.
Yeah. Junkie clump. Clump spills.
Sounds like a paper towel commercial.
The funk of the clump works, I think, in dripping clumps. Yeah. Let's see. Joe then does cut an intense promo on Dominic, which was really cool. And then he starts to say something like, "Oh, I didn't mean it," and he yells at him, gets in his face, and you see Dom almost get a little flustered for a second, and it was good. I was like, if Dom knew it was coming, dude, you're doing killer already. If he didn't know it was coming, I hope Samoa Joe pulled him aside later and be like, "Dude, you did a good job, but I'm not really gonna beat you in front of your family."
Notice the cameras were rolling, right?
Yeah. I hope you got him a coffee or something. Here, dude. Let's see.
Whiskey.
Yeah.
Calm those nerves back down.
Let's see. First T-shirt funk of the clump. Oh, he wants a T-shirt funk of the clump. So it'll be like smelly lines off of a cartoon clump, like that memoji. Little smelly lines on it. T-shirt funk.
Be a funky jersey. Play off
a playoff jersey?
No, like a what was it? What was his name? Terry Funk. Remember how it had the Funk U?
Yeah.
Could just be a
make it kind of clumpish with a clump drawing instead of like Terry Funk in the middle. I do think that making a clump bib is in order, as much as he spills on himself.
So you wanted a clump bottle?
Sippy cup. Sippy cup. Maybe that's why he didn't come. He didn't know if there was a sippy cup or not. Let's see. Right after that, we had Lacey Evans versus a jobber. It was Ali Katrina. It was a pretty shitty match. Just all around. It wasn't.
Yeah.
There wasn't much going on there. Lacey did not look as impressive as she did in her match previous to that. It was a little sloppy. I mean, it wasn't like sloppy. It wasn't like you're doing bad or missing spots or doing like that. It just was like, it just kind of felt thrown together a little bit, and without a lot of like, it didn't like there was much work involved or much storytelling to do.
Yeah, it was definitely one of those, if you have ADD, your attention's elsewhere during that match.
Yeah.
Just couldn't keep you in, there's no interest. Like,
No, yeah. Here, we're going to go out there, do 2 minutes. I'm going to do 2 moves, and then we're going to go wrap it up. Yeah. Okay, it doesn't make me excited for Lacey matches, and it should be, right? Because she's about to go for the title, and we haven't seen her perform much. The least you can do is not make her look like she performs bad. I'm not saying make her go out there and do great. Just don't have her go out there and do nothing. Yeah. Right? Or literally just do nothing. That's better than doing your mostly nothing match.
Still better than a catwalk, though.
It is better than catwalk. Naomi, Natalya, Dana Brooke, and Alexa are all ringside for this, not in formal attire as requested. Lacey cuts a promo on them saying any one of them could win the Money in the Bank, and if they do, to not try and cash in on her, and she's going to beat Becky 2 belts. Becky then comes out and lays a beat down on Lacey. The promo wasn't great. Becky did a good beat down. It was a little staticky.
Yeah. I mean, it almost seems like, the last few times Lacey's gone out there and actually spoke, when she's, calm and ready, she can deliver a promo. Yeah. But, like, after the match, she's, winded or whatever, and, it just seemed like it was sloppy. And I think that might be the reason.
It was okay. It also just kind of felt like unnecessary. Like, I mean, I don't know. Are you trying to build up for any rivalry after the fact? Are you like already getting ahead of yourselves on that one? Yeah. Like, let her focus. It just didn't seem like it was the direction of it was anything we could go with much. Although I do believe Becky on Twitter said something along the lines of, "You had 3 former champs on the outside all acting like they didn't know what to do." And I was like, that's cool that she called them out. Naomi, Alexa, and Natalya, all former champions, and all standing around like, "Ooh, what?" And then someone was just out there talking shit about you. Yeah. Why didn't you jump in and beat them? It should have been like 4 people beating down Lacey. Baron Hagen says she's not really a chicken shit heel or a powerhouse. She's just kind of the assistant manager of heels. Yeah, she's not like constantly cheating or doing crazy things that make you go like, "Oh, I could beat her." She's cheating to get her wins. And she's also not like the type who's going out there and laying shit out like a Lars Sullivan, where you're just like, who's supposed to beat her? She's just coming out, talking sassy and leaving.
And getting her ass kicked.
And then getting her ass kicked by Becky. Yeah. And then at other times just no-selling Becky, and it's like, it feels like the character development there is just not on point. Yeah. Like, I think I know where they want to go with it, but it feels like they're just kind of jotting stuff down for that feud and putting it aside and moving on. Like, I think they need to focus it a little more. Yeah. After that, Daniel Bryan cuts a little promo on Kofi, which was all right. It's pretty good. Yeah. Daniel Bryan's solid. And then after that, Viking Raiders came out and had a match against Hawkins and Ryder. The Raiders got the win with their finishing move, which has now been named the Viking Experience. That is the name of their finishing maneuver now. It's clever. I'm into that. Yeah, experience this. Yeah. And then they both pin him at the same time. You notice that? Like, that's a Viking experience right there. 2 dudes on you. Yeah. Yeah.
Like it.
Hold them down.
Yeah. Rape and pillage.
That's what they do.
The whole experience.
Yeah. So the Raiders dominated them. There was a couple good sells from Hawkins and Ryder. With as much as we were all supposed to feel good about the Hawkins and Ryder win, I don't feel good about where they look, where they stand, Yeah.
I mean, it's like almost like the revival all over again. Hey, you're champs. Here you go. Yeah. We're going to make you look like shit now.
Yeah. Why does Raw have no idea how to handle a tag team?
I don't know.
Like, the best thing that ever happened to the Usos was the wild card rule.
Yeah, exactly. Get out of here.
After that was the Firefly Funhouse vignette with the rabbit.
Mercy the buzzard.
Yeah, Mercy eats Rambling the rabbit. Yeah. And then the kids are all there for a picnic and they all look absolutely miserable.
Yeah. I like the sound effects of the buzzard eating.
Yeah. Yeah. And then Mercy getting all mouthy with him and stuff. Yeah, wowie. And he's all like, he's going to reward him for ripping him apart. Yeah. That was pretty good. Really excited for where they go.
The rabbit back.
all like
Some
stitched
back
up and
together,
Frankenstein-y and stuff.
Chucky.
Yeah, I could see that. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Anywhere they go with it, I think I'm happy with right now. But it looks like they are getting closer and closer to the idea of
His in-ring.
of it showing something else, right? Because
Yeah.
it cut to like him with the hurt heel thing, but I feel like at some point it's gonna flip and become staticky and and then you're gonna see him in some horrible burnt down building like that old house that he had, and just playing in the mud with like stick figures and like saying yowie wowie and just being completely filthy. That's what I envision is he's gonna be like totally filthy and awful.
Rabbit corpse.
Yeah, yeah, with like an actual dead rabbit.
Yeah.
You know. And then you're all going, what the, and like, you know, I think it'd be great. And like little kid dolls or something, you know.
The old sound effect
Um,
of the song.
yeah.
That, or
Yeah.
however it went. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, 100%.
And then it shows it, you know, that would be good.
Yeah. Baron Anakin's happy that it's a Waylon Mercy tribute in the Firefly Funhouse. Yeah, Waylon Mercy is a character that inspired the Bray Wyatt character. He was a very Creole, Southern, crazy heel type. And yeah, that's why he used to wear the Hawaiian t-shirts and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. After that, Seth cuts a promo on AJ. It was kind of weird.
Felt AEW-ish.
Yeah.
It felt like the Cody promo from last week.
A little bit. I do think it was weird the way he said he was going to walk away with 2 black eyes and a broken face. Like, it seemed a little specific. Yeah. It just came off weird to me.
Yeah. I mean, it didn't get me any more excited for the match or any more interested in it. It's like,
yeah,
almost just another dull Seth promo.
Yeah, and I feel bad. I want to root for the dude. He's really skilled, but his promos are coming off just staticky.
Yeah.
After that, Roman and Drew McIntyre come out. They have an okay match. It's interrupted by Shane and Elias. Miz chases Shane.
For the 4th run-in.
Yeah.
Miz didn't count. Vince says that.
Oh,
remember,
yeah.
it's
Yeah, that's true. Miz hits Shane with a chair, and Michael Cole had a total delayed reaction that made me laugh. He swings at him and it's like, boom, and then like he goes down and you just hear Cole goes, oh my God, he hit him with a chair. Like a second later, like boom, oh God. So it's like his feed was wrong or something.
Somebody
Or
was back. Say something about that.
yeah, you shouldn't be silent. Someone's getting hit in the face with a chair. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm not interested in Miz and Shane. Not at all. This didn't make me any more interested in it.
I thought they had a perfect ending at Mania.
Yeah.
You know, it was good. Done.
This entire segment felt like worthless to me. I didn't understand where we were going with it, what we were doing with it. Roman and Drew even being interrupted. The match itself wasn't even great to begin with. Roman, I guess I can see why kids like him because his matches are so easy to understand. There's no like psychology in the match. Yeah. It's just punch, jump, hurt, punch, jump, hurt, spear, hurt, okay, winning. Yeah. Really simple. I just feel like he removes all psychology from his matches and make it look a little bit like a video game, and then he wins, and kids know to cheer. Yeah. That's what it feels like. It feels like if you gave a kid 2 toys. Yeah.
Well, like you said, you've always said Roman looks like an action figure.
Yeah.
And that's,
he wrestles like one too.
Yeah. He moves like him.
Yeah. After that, we had the Revival in the ring with the Club. They were going to have a match. Yeah, I know. Clump spilled all over himself. Just trying to figure out how to type on his own phone. Probably poured the entire glass out on his lap.
You can just see him.
Yeah. Sorry. I'm betting he's drinking some kind of milk. Probably got like cereal dust in it. You know.
The milk after cereal.
Yeah, he's the type I think would store it. Hold on to it for later. And then he goes, oh, I want some of that milk from this morning.
Have it labeled differently from which cereal he used.
No.
This is my Lucky Charm. No,
he wouldn't. It would be a mix. He wouldn't be able to tell them apart. But then he would spill it on himself. His pants get dusty after a minute. Yeah.
That's
So it looks like it's to be a match with the Revival versus the Club, and then it actually turns out to being the Usos and the Revival in a comedy skit with Uzi Hot.
Nope. It's that time again.
Come and take your pills! So they were doing the Uzi Hot thing where they put sweat-activated hot ointment on the balls and crotch of the Revival. I'm assuming they did it through the ring gear, but we don't really know that. It was really weird, but at some point you just wonder, like, is the Revival having fun?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they might be.
Yeah.
They might be all like, yeah, let's do it, fuck it. Like, Vince has pissed himself.
And,
yeah.
You know,
yeah, they were rolling around all weird and goofy.
Dog rubbing his ass on the carpet, you know.
Yeah.
I hope they're having fun.
Yeah, like scraping his butt on the canvas like a dog, yeah. And then they just went and poured all that water all over their junk right there. Like, I gotta feel like they're having fun at some point. Like, I mean, they're trying to talk about it in all the dirt sheets, like they're being buried and they're doing this to ruin the Revival. But I don't know. They're on TV every week. Yeah. People are talking about them. They're having a notable storyline with arguably the best tag team in the company. Yeah. It just happens to have a lot of comedy in it. Yeah. And hey, maybe they're the type of team that needs to be checked a little bit. Like maybe backstage is like, hey, you need to take yourself a little less seriously. We will have big plans for you, but you also need to realize this is just TV. Yeah. You know what I mean? Where I agree with them and where they come from and the idea of like, I believe titles matter. I believe that the matches matter. I believe that you should be doing all that stuff. But maybe there's also a point where you really got to drive the point home. We're also here just to entertain people sometimes. Yeah. So go out there, rub icy hot on your ball sack. Yeah. Roll around like a dog who shit himself.
Then pour water all over yourself.
Yeah. And make it worse.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I hope the Revival's having fun. Yeah. If they're not and they're doing this,
that sucks.
Yeah. It's like work purgatory.
Yeah.
Like, you feel bad for the guys, but, you know, if they're in the back with a say in their own skits and, oh, we should do this or what about this, then, you know, cool. Yeah. Like, keep it up.
Yeah, if they're having fun, man, then I'm having fun watching. I will say that Michelle, like, could not stop laughing during that whole skit. Like, that was, like, the funniest thing to her, which is good. That's what they want. That's what they need. Mm-hmm. If they're going to do a comedy, then, yeah, get everybody laughing. Get everybody talking. Jishi. The Revival started rubbing on their tenders, saying like they're getting all hot and sweaty and stuff, and we're not exactly sure how the Usos applied the ointment that made the Great Balls of Fire happen, but we're assuming they smeared them like a cream cheese on a bagel onto their Revival underpants. But we don't know with certainty, because all we know is they ran out of their room at some point. They could have been napping, and they could have applied it like a masseuse. Yeah.
They could have. This is their weekly thing. Let's go in there and there's some Uzi Hot.
Yeah, Uzi Hot on the back. Yeah. You know, maybe he just replaced any one of their lubricants with Uzi Hot.
Jock straps.
Right in their jock. It's hard to say. It's hard to say. All we saw was them walking out giggling after the Revival were like walking out of the Revival's dressing room. We don't know what was happening behind that door. It could have been any number of ways to apply it, I think is the important thing to think about. Yeah. Kofi cuts a great promo on Daniel Bryan and everything. Another one of those like I'm here for a reason and stuff, and getting kind of intense, and I like it because there was a lot of talk with him coming out, power positivity and flipping pancakes and stuff. Like, could he be taken seriously? And he's going to need to take a serious edge, and I feel like he's doing that great. Yeah. I feel like he's absolutely nailing the idea of how do you make that happen? How do you get people to take you more seriously? I think he's doing the best of both worlds on that. He's absolutely just like the best of both worlds. You know, from the song that they do. Remember from when they closed the brand split?
Oh, yeah. Where everyone's in a recording booth.
Yeah.
I got
That's
you.
the one. Carmella's all like, I'm thirsty. Can I get some water? And she's like, ugh. She doesn't pour it on her junk like the Revival. She drinks it like you would a water bottle.
Memorable.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't know that was the song. I didn't know the lyrics.
Oh, it's a good song. I'll send it to you, man.
Yeah. It's an iPod and everything.
Yeah, it's an iPod. Let's see. At this point, it feels like we are barely halfway through, but we're getting there. No Way Jose then gets attacked by Lars Sullivan. I don't know why. I don't know where we're going with Lars, other than Vince is then on the phone with somebody, I don't know who, and saying, I'm a genius, I'm brilliant, I came up with a wild card rule. We're only 3 people, and he goes, and if it's not 3, then I suspend them. And then Lars comes in, and then Vince goes, oh, maybe 4.
Good
I don't,
talk.
yeah, what that was about, I don't know. His trying to like limit the amount of people is also weird. I don't know. I'm not sure what the
the whole wild card thing is garbage.
Yeah, and Vince seems super scared of Lars Sullivan, which is a little weird too.
Has Lars talked since coming out?
No.
It almost seems like they're trying to do like the Randy Orton, like the RKO out of nowhere. Like Lars Sullivan's coming out for no given reason and just attacking people.
But it's not out of nowhere. He comes walking from the back.
Yeah.
Like, I've just been back there bored. It feels a lot more like how Braun was. Yeah, where it's the, I need some competition, or Ryback's feed me more. Yeah. Except Ryback had matches. So, I don't know. Who do you put Lars up against? And honestly, this whole Lars, I mean, we'll get to it in the next little bit here, but Lars and R-Truth thing has got to stop. I'm not interested in Lars versus R-Truth. I'd rather see R-Truth in something with Samoa Joe or Mysterio or someone who can really like
go with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what beating up R-Truth is going to make Lars look like.
I don't know. A racist?
Did you read that?
Yeah.
No, there's a thing out right now.
Oh, is there?
There's a thing on the dirt sheets now that you bring it up.
Yeah, I segued perfectly.
Yeah, Lars on an old bodybuilder forum had made some derogatory comments a couple of times and was talking about how his humor is, goes, it's fun to make fun of the gays and minorities. And he goes, as long as you're just exploring your sense of humor with other straight guys. It was really weird. Yeah, where I was like, okay. I mean, it's one thing to say I feel like everything can be joked about. The way you said it was weird. Maybe that's what you meant to say, but it came off really weird. And they've talked about it. Apparently it came up once before when he first joined NXT, and it's coming back again now that there's this thing with him and R-Truth, I guess. Big E put out a thing where he's like, if it turns out Lars is like actually a bigot and hasn't changed his views, because anyone can change. They can change their views. He could have been stupid and then been like, I don't know why I thought that, you know. He said if he hasn't changed his views, then the joke's going to be on him for being in a company that's swarmed with minorities. Yeah. You're like, yeah. I mean, yeah. So I guess have him beat down R-Truth. Maybe he can bring back the curb stomp. We'll see. After that, Daniel Bryan has his match with Kofi Kingston for the championship.
Which is good.
This is the second time in the show that Daniel Bryan showed up without Eric Rowan. And I was starting to wonder what was going on with that. And they answered that next night. So, but I was thinking it was really weird that he showed up without Eric Rowan twice. And didn't mention Eric Rowan either. Just not mentioned at all. So I was like, something's up, something's not right. But
just, you know, even during the match, make an appearance or something. And then even the ref, hey, get out of here. We're not having that crap right now.
But I don't remember even the announcers mentioning him.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really weird. I was like, something's up. They're not even talking about him.
Rowan wasn't on Raw at all, was he?
Rowan? No, not at all.
Well, maybe that was the whole wild card.
As part of the wild card? Yeah, maybe so.
Oh,
yeah, because then you'd have another person from SmackDown. You can't have more than 4.
And Miz doesn't count.
Miz isn't a thing.
He's not
Shane,
suspended.
Shane can go wherever, so that's the other thing. But So in the beginning of the match, Daniel Bryan came out really fast. Kofi answered him. The back and forth on it was awesome. I thought it felt just as good as watching the WrestleMania match for the most part.
Yeah, two great talents showcasing.
Yeah, amazing. Kofi does get the win. It is a clean win. It was good. I had no complaints about that match. I would say that as far as Raw goes, I got more bullet points than normally, but if I were to try to find the highlights of it, it would be AJ hinting at his friends.
Yeah. Make the damn destruction happen.
Sammy talking a little bit. Ricochet and Robert Roode would definitely highlight.
Yeah.
Always nice to see Becky, but I don't even know if I would consider it a highlight at that point.
I don't think that this one was.
No. Firefly Funhouse and that match. So I would say there's like 3 things in there that I would say if someone were to like, hey, what should I watch to catch up? I'd be like, just know these other things happen, but watch these 2 matches.
Just read it online.
Yeah, those would be
Yeah, it was. Oh, I hope they get rid of this wild card. Triple H comes in and says, "Hey, Vince has dementia."
Jesus, dude.
Stop it. Yeah,
Christ.
I was just trying to think of something off.
You don't got to bury a guy like that.
It's not married yet. Just kidding.
No. I would say that at the 9:30 mark, I looked at my watch and I was like, "Fuck." I felt like Aleister Black. Fuck.
We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. But I felt like it just would not end. Clump feels like he might still be watching Raw.
We're not that bad. Are we?
What do you mean? No. He's saying that Raw went so long, he feels like he's still watching it.
I thought you were saying
If Clump compares us to Raw, I will give him the Viking experience. Marshing experience?
Marshing?
Yeah, you're going to get the marshing experience.
You can get marsh?
Oh, did you want to apologize to the...
Sorry, I didn't mean to hurt your feelings.
SmackDown Live. Cheers to the end of Raw.
I know. Halfway there.
Mm-hmm. SmackDown Live opened up with AJ Styles due to the wild card rule.
Yeah. I'm going to say shake-up, weren't you?
I thought the way I was reading this, I was about to say SmackDown rule, and I was like, it's not a SmackDown rule. But it felt a little stupid to me to have Raw open with Roman and SmackDown open with AJ after you switched the 2 of them and made a big fucking deal about it because it was a big deal to have these people on new shows, to be on different things. Like, get something a little bit different.
And if I remember, Roman wasn't even on SmackDown, was he?
Hey, new guys, like, follow, subscribe. I can't subscribe or like, but if you could follow, that'd be great. Turn off notifications. You don't got to be aware when we're on as long as you're following us anyways.
Cheers.
Cheers to the news. Oh, anyone who follows will be getting a Wrestling on the Rocks sobriety chip.
Non-sobriety chip?
No, we're going to call it a comeback chip for people who are actually like Clump sober and like that's a good thing. Yeah. So I don't want to like downplay sobriety. It's way good. I'm going to need more drink. Oh my God, that's such a natural reaction of how you'd put ice in a glass.
The pressure's on.
Well, yeah, it just is. Look at that. No spill, doesn't go everywhere. This is insanity to me.
I don't mean to have shine your Clump, but...
Well, yeah, it feels like Clump has no idea what he's fucking doing, even when it comes to a goddamn ice cube. I guess we miss you, Clump.
We think.
And we'll have nothing to clean up once we're done tonight. We'll have nothing to clean.
Allow me, sir.
Yeah, I'm gonna need that for the sobriety bit. So AJ opened up SmackDown. Raw is opened by Roman. We're back before the SmackDown shake-up, Superstar shake-up.
Whatever.
It's been going on for a month anyways, and I'm going to add a wild card to it.
Yeah, the Superstar
just break down the wall. Break down the brand split. Just do it. Just be like, hey, you know what? We're going to have surprises every week. Just make it a thing. Yeah. Wild card, every week you're going to see someone from one show on a different show. But the storylines will continue. And we'll get to the end here in about halfway through, we're going to talk about missed opportunities with that wild card bit. If you're going to have 4 people from SmackDown go to Raw, have them interacting with people from Raw specifically. Kofi versus Daniel Bryan didn't have to happen on Raw.
Yeah.
So don't put them over there as a thing. Have Kofi defend the title against someone from Raw.
Yeah.
Like a Sammy.
Yeah.
Braun even. Do something crazy.
You're waiting till the next night for Sammy.
Yeah. We'll actually get to that too. But
yeah, but something that
something
you wouldn't see.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm over here for something you wouldn't normally see.
Yeah.
Here's 2 people on SmackDown having a match on Raw.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Yeah, why?
Yeah. Sort of like when they did the shakeup and then they put immediately AJ, Miz, and was it Joe in a triple threat? Rey Mysterio.
Ray, yeah. AJ, Ray, and Joe.
And you're like, that's a SmackDown match. We could have seen that last week.
Yeah. In fact, I think we saw it 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Let's see. So he opens up. Styles could be. Oh, yes. This is the bit. The announcers have got to stop sounding like they're dumb. There's no point in making them sound dumb.
Yeah.
But they literally say this as he's in the ring. Styles could very well be the first wildcard superstar to appear on SmackDown. Could he?
Maybe.
He could be the first one. Is it because he's the first one on the show and in the ring now?
Yeah. It's a possibility.
Let's wait and find out. He might not be. Someone could go back in time and come out before him.
Just wait.
Yeah, wait, hold on.
Yeah.
He might disappear and then someone else will be here before him.
Would you put that bet down in Vegas? That he'd be the first?
Oh, yeah.
Is that a shoe-in?
R. Loden. Is that Uncle Bob? Either way, R. Loden, we're happy to have you. Make sure you follow. You can turn off notifications. We're fine. If you got a glass, let us know what you're drinking. We are drinking Crown. We're trying to get it either a cease and desist or a sponsorship. So if you know anybody, let them know.
Yes.
What do you think about Dean Ambrose going back as Jon Moxley? We're going to get to that right after we talk about SmackDown because our local AEW correspondent is not here today because he said wrestling sucked this week. There's nothing to talk about. Where? But I mean, I guess we can talk about it real quick, anyways, just so we don't lose a viewer. I'm excited for him as it doesn't take a lot. Yeah. I'm already in it. Cheers to the Jon Mox. Ow.
I like the video that came out. It was awesome.
His video was great.
Yeah, it was. You can tell it was professionally produced. I don't think he did it himself.
Or if he did, man.
Yeah,
more power to him.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for him to come back as Jon Moxley. My only fear is I don't think as much as death matches can be cool when done the right way, I think there's a lot of like over the top danger that just isn't needed in today's wrestling world. But I think that he's qualified to bring more storytelling to those types of matches, more so than most. I just hope that if he does go back into the deathmatch realm as his main focus, like he was for a long time, that he removes some of the really unnecessary danger of like light bulbs and stuff. People go into hospitals for stuff like that. I'd like to see those things not be involved in his specific death matches and to see some really great storytelling in his death matches to elevate the death matches to be out of just this of what they've become at this point. Like, I mean, I think people take for granted a lot of the reason why hardcore matches became so popular when they did. It was really during a time the legitimacy of professional wrestling was constantly in question, and they needed to kind of show that, hey, we're tough, we're real, we're badasses, you know, it's still real to me kind of a deal. And they needed to show that there's something beyond what was being portrayed as cartoonish in one show and then where the big boys play in the other show, and then we had a smaller thing saying there's also people who just want to beat the shit out of each other.
Whatever, by any means necessary, chairs to the head, you know, like you said, light bulbs. Yeah, and at this point, barbed wire bats, all that good shit. We're beyond that. We're beyond that need of trying to prove that it's real. We can appreciate the storytelling behind it instead. So I just hope that he does what he's uniquely qualified to do and elevate that whole world well above where it's at now. Because at this point, the death matches I've seen, they're either over the top gore with not a lot of actual story.
as much as I hate to bring it up, but the David Arquette death match that he had with that ex-con, like legitimately an ex-con, who stabbed him in the neck really close to a really important artery. They're all pretty important. But here was a dude who ultimately felt like he got out of hand in a match he shouldn't have been in and all that stuff. And I understand there's a lot to be said for that anyways. But still, he was in a position that isn't necessary for him to have been in to be able to have told the same story that he needed to tell. Mm-hmm. And I'd like to see someone like Moxley go in there and show that. Hey, guys, we can tell these same stories with that same visceral intensity, but without the publicity of someone having to be taken immediately to the hospital.
Yeah, somebody literally almost dying.
Yeah.
You know.
Like, I mean, what if Arquette had bled out?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that would not have been good for our business. Yeah. Not my business. I'm not wrestling business. I just talk about their business. It would have been great for the business that we all love. So I don't know. That's how I feel about it as far as who Jon Moxley was. As far as who he's going to be, it's up to him, and I'm excited for any bit of it. I was saying before the Royal Rumble that I thought that Dean should have won the Rumble and should have been the one to dethrone Brock Lesnar. Even when Seth won the Rumble, I said, fuck, I don't even want Seth to win. Let him lose and let Dean win the next night. Yeah. So I'm a huge Dean fan, Moxley fan. I'll follow him wherever he goes.
I mean, like, you know, it's going to be interesting if he shows up on AEW or even goes back to WWE.
Or Impact. Impact's shelling out a lot of money right now, doing great stuff. The stuff with Brian Cage was incredible. Cage and Johnny Impact had an amazing match for the title. Yeah. You put Moxley in the mix like that with guys like Johnny and Brian, and man.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of the few people that I think can walk away from the WWE, either go to the independents or, you know, obviously one of the other promotions, and a lot of people will actually follow him.
Yeah. There's a lot of people who could dump out right now and say, I'm signing with AEW, and I will not care. Yeah. Just will not care at all. Yeah. Him leaving, man, I want to see what he's going to do, because he's the type of dude who's, I mean, we saw what he did when he came back this last time from his shoulder injury. Yeah. It was amazing.
Triple H Jr.
Yeah.
And then, you know, changed his image, everything.
Twice in that time frame. He came out, 3 times, because he came back, did the Shield thing, then he did the turn on Seth, and then he did the turn back, and his turn back was incredible. Of all, like, I forgot about that. Don't even worry about it. Like, what the, like, the guy's amazing.
Was it the Return to Society or whatever it was called? With the gas mask and, you know.
Well, it was, I mean, but it was different.
Whatever it was called, But, yeah, I mean, like, I'm interested to see where he goes. If he goes on the independents, I'll be following him.
Yeah, I'll definitely follow him.
Even without a Twitter.
Which, I'll put that up too, because I've got my Twitter up right now. We'll go ahead and put up the Kevlar info here. Kevlar right there. There you go. We're still getting no Stackhouse today. I hope he's all right, man. He sent me a message the other day of an article about the Leo Rush, because we were talking about Leo Rush so much on the last one. Really cool stuff, good insight, and a lot more has come out since then. So I was actually hoping he'd pop on so we could talk about it a little bit. But yeah, if you do get to watch this later, Stackhouse, I really like that article. I'll hit you up outside of this and let you know. But yeah, we'll see what ends up happening with Leo. He was again not mentioned this week. I didn't even talk about it, but that was the last show, Raw. Yeah, he didn't come out again, and they again did not mention him at all. So whatever's going on with him is really going on. Let's see. Oh man, I lost the chat. So you're gonna have to let me know if anything comes of it. If anything's different. Oh, here we go. I'll do this. There we go. Sami Callihan. Yeah, I've heard a lot of great things about him. I haven't seen anything that's made him click with me just yet, but I have heard really good things about him from all the people that I do see and follow, and people who talk about the indie stuff.
Hopefully better than Adam Cole.
Yeah. I have a feeling he is.
We're not big Adam Cole fans.
Bay.
So,
Let's see. So after AJ Styles might be the first person to show up on SmackDown after he showed up on SmackDown, Sami Zayn ends up coming back, which was exciting to know that he wasn't murdered the night before. Cheers to the long life of Sami Zayn. So Sami Zayn back from the dead and gets interrupted by AJ. Crowd chants. Oh, AJ tells him that he still smells and he should take a shower. Crowd starts chanting, take a shower. It's really good. He starts saying, it's just not that easy.
Yeah.
I took a shower.
Doesn't come out that easy.
Yeah, it's so funny. The two of them back and forth was great. Just absolute gold. And then Kofi and Woods come out and interrupts them and challenges. He says either Sammy or AJ for the title. The crowd starts chanting triple threat. I didn't know how I felt about it other than I can't imagine Kofi putting on a bad match with either one, let alone triple threat. I was excited. What did you think of the opening segment on that one?
It was good. You know, like you said, Sammy and AJ going back and forth was good. Kofi coming out there.
With Woods. Nice to see Woods back.
Yeah. You know, yeah. I mean, with those talents, you can't go wrong. It just sucks because they did it the night before type of thing.
They did have a bunch going on the night before.
I like to see new faces, fresh faces out there. And like I said, that's my biggest complaint with the wild card is we're going to go back to seeing the same people on the same show or on both shows every week.
Over and over, yeah.
You know, yeah.
For sure.
Raw's finally excited they got rid of Roman and he comes back.
Yeah, and then did he even show up on SmackDown? I don't think he did.
I don't think he did.
Yeah, he wasn't even on SmackDown.
Yeah,
so it's like...
Yeah, kind of made me question things.
Really annoyed me, to be honest. I didn't really want him on SmackDown to see him push the Elias thing more, but also if you're the wild card on Raw, why are you the only wild card not to show up back on your native land? But I did think all of them did a really good job together, and I felt that opening segment was way better than the opening segment on Raw. Just felt better, which was nice because SmackDown was pretty bad last week. Then they showed a Kevin Owens promo where he was in his car talking about how it was his birthday. He didn't want to deal with SmackDown, so he's going home. And that's when they announced the triple threat for Kofi, AJ, and Sammy. After that, we had Ali versus Andrade. It was a match that got interrupted by Orton, who ultimately RKO's both of them. The RKO of Andrade out of the air was pretty sick. But it was also a little goofy looking, too, because I wasn't sure what Andrade was doing. But when they showed it in slow motion, he's just all like...
Yeah. I know it was weird jump and, you know, transition into it, but I'm a big RKO fan, so
yeah.
Every time I see him, I'm excited.
It was a good match. I don't know what the point of it, a lot of it was, but it was good.
Yeah.
Two dudes. It being interrupted by Orton didn't bother me either.
No, I think it's just to push Money in the Bank and each competitor in it, and I think it did its job. Just as long as they don't next week. Hey, we didn't finish our match. We need to have it, you know, type of thing.
I wonder if that's also because they didn't have like qualifying matches like we said.
Yeah.
That maybe they'll highlight the people who did not get to be in these qualifying matches by not having them just go out there and face each other week after week in different pairings. So to get you hyped for these people in general, I could see that. It could be a response to that.
Yeah.
I think I would have preferred the other way of qualifying. So you don't know who's going to be in it right away. But I guess if you tell them first and let them get excited a different way.
But it's also them pushing Money in the Bank. Because I always thought Money in the Bank was in June. I thought...
Yeah. It's definitely... They put it early, yeah.
Yeah. So, I think, you know, time constraints. But, once again, you don't need to tell everyone who's in Money in the Bank in 1 week.
Yeah.
You know, like in years past.
Yeah.
Hey, this person are going... for it this night, and then next week, this person, you know. So I would have preferred that. It would have at least, and we talked about this last week, it would have at least showcased more, you know, more talent that they have.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then they do the exact opposite with the damn wild card.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
I just can't stand it.
Yeah, I need a drink.
Every time
they're making it hard to follow along.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be hard to follow along.
Yeah.
Let's see. Then after this, they show a video package for Roman, which is a nice video package for Roman, but he didn't show up on the show. So was that their answer to it? Yeah, instead of having him, we'll just remind you why you should like him. Please cheer him. Yeah. Please cheer.
And to me, like I said, these promos like this have been more AEW overproduced promos than kind of backstage just, hey, how you doing, you know?
Yeah, which is funny. And okay, so I know a lot of people are saying that WWE is doing things out of fear with the AEW, but the other hand, Well, no, but if AEW's entire stance is we're going to be an alternative to WWE. WWE does in-ring promos, so we're going to do produced promos. They don't have a very strong tag division, so we're going to have a strong tag division. If you're telling the WWE that that's where they're failing and that's how they're going to get you, why not start going, okay, let's produce our promos differently. Let's up the tag team division. All right, now go out there and be the first.
Yeah.
After you just gave us months to literally get ahead of this. To me, it feels like it could be that. I do think it's funny too. People are saying that the reason AEW hasn't been able to announce a TV deal yet is because WWE's bad ratings is making it difficult for them. Come on, you don't get both. You don't say that they're the new everything and then say it's WWE's fault they're not winning. Yeah. The F out of here.
Like I said last week,
let them be who they're going to be.
I still want AEW to go on HBO.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Like that would be so good.
Very good.
Cussing.
Cinemax.
Boobies.
Yeah, tons of boobs.
Attitude Era's back.
Yeah, woo!
Dustin Rhodes wins.
Yeah, Dustin wins. Attitude Era forever. So after the video package, we were reminded why we have to like Roman and we can't boo him.
They didn't bring up cancer.
They did.
Oh, did they?
They did.
I thought they didn't.
They did. It was like half of the video.
Oh, I remember now.
They show the cancer after he defeats the Undertaker, and I was like, ooh,
I remember that now.
Slimy, dude. Because the whole Undertaker thing got him the biggest booze of his entire career. So like he wins against the Undertaker, and they're all like, "Oh, I'm Joe," and you're all like, "Come on." So yeah, they played it dirty.
Yeah.
But they did it.
Video montage, which was actually decent.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. I like all their vignettes. I really do. All their video montages, I always like. I'm a sucker for all of them. I'm always all like, oh my God, Roman. And then after it's over, I'm all like, God, they got me.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Got him again.
Shane comes out and talks about The Miz for a minute, but then he announces the SmackDown Tag Team Champions. He's just going to crown some people who who feels like he should have them, and he announces Daniel Bryan and Rowan. I didn't like it either, but also was interested in like, I mean, are they really gonna just let it be that? And they didn't, so it worked out. So like, it shows that it's another heel move by Shane. I'm just gonna make a new one champion. I can make whoever I want champion, and then have the Usos come out.
Kind of wanted or preferred is that if Rowan and Daniel Bryan come out in like suits, you know, like the
corporate champs.
Corporate, like, hey, here you go. Be professional about it. You know, so they come out there in suits. Rowan comes out with one doesn't have sleeves on it.
Oh, that'd be fun.
And you know, it would have been funny, and then the Usos, right, come out and then
and say no.
Stop,
But then they would have to tear it away like Cesaro to have the match.
Well, that's when you have the commercial break and they run back and
get ready.
Yeah.
We're not ready. We'll go get ready and then have a commercial break. Yeah. But
I think it should have been like a production, like, you know, how they always have those little promos with, you know, Becky's celebration or whatever, and you know the ring's kind of decorated. I think they should have done that, where, you know, the ring's kind of decorated. They have the belts in the ring.
They could have had the belts on like a stack of hay.
Yeah.
Stack of hay.
Yeah. But you know what I mean, and then come out there in suits and. Thank you.
Do the whole thing. Oh, thank you, Mr. McMahon. We understand that you could see our credibility because we're intellectual equals and all that. Yeah, you could have really played it up. I do think they ended up giving more time to the Usos, who came out and demanded the titles get earned. And I think the Usos with microphones is some of the best TV they have right now. Yeah. So didn't bother me one bit, giving them a microphone for another long segment. And
the only thing also that kind of got me with that spot is, especially the night before, I would have loved for the Revival to show up, you know, not counted for, and interrupt the match. Yeah. And then, you know, Usos lose. Yeah. I think that would have been great.
I would have felt better about their loss.
Yeah.
Than I did.
Hey, you keep fucking with us. You keep, you know, punking us out.
Yeah. You keep giving us a little icy hot, how's your father? Yeah. Can you see that? Do we have a cup in it? A little spicy hot, a little oozy hot. Get a little oozy on the bottom. Little juicy oozy. Too much? There's it. Too much. All right. then we will move along. Sorry about that. But ultimately, I ended up having to write down that the Daniel Bryan and Rowan got the win after a very impressive performance by the Usos.
Yeah.
The Usos looked amazing out there, and then Daniel Bryan and Rowan got a win in kind of a quick. But I guess that's how you make beatable heels, right?
Yeah.
You make them look like they're not going to win, and then they are able to pull it off somehow.
See, I think that would have been a great spot for the Revival. You know, one of the Usos is on the outside, distracted by the ref because Daniel Bryan and Rowan are over there, and then Revival come in, beat up the other one.
Yeah, let him come out and do the thing. Yeah,
I think it would have been interesting, especially since the Miz didn't count as a wild card.
Miz
for running in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's not one of the four, so he won't be suspended.
Yeah.
Well, suspend someone then. If you're gonna say that on Raw, just have someone come over and get suspended.
And even suspend Revival for a week.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
No one would even notice.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but you could do it and get away with it, and then it'll be fine.
Credibility.
But I think the Usos, if they had one, would have been a great story to tell to begin with, right?
It would have been at least made the wild card interesting.
Suddenly, shocking.
Yeah. Like, wait a second.
Hold on.
This Raw tag team now has the SmackDown belts.
Yeah, what the F?
Yeah, what are we doing now?
Yeah, where do we go from here?
Yeah.
Are they just going to take the SmackDown titles to Raw?
Yeah.
And maybe they do.
Yeah.
And maybe you have...
interesting.
Yeah. You have champion versus champion, have them put their titles up on the line on the wrong show, have the SmackDown titles change hands on Raw.
Yeah.
With a SmackDown team.
Yeah, with the wild card.
With the wild card.
Yeah.
You could go so many cool ways with it, but instead we got Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan, which, I mean, nothing bad about them other than Rowan's not as impressive as I would had hoped. But
the only thing I'm excited for is the new belts.
Yeah. Yeah, I did mention that down the line. He says that they're going to fix the belts. We'll get to that actually in just a second. But what is next is the Firefly Funhouse replay. Again, still happy about it, still excited about it. It's on both shows every week, so in case you missed a bit last week, you get it this week. And I don't know where they're going to go with it, but again, I think they can go a lot of creepy ways with it.
Yeah.
I really like the kids being miserable. You know more than most, I like miserable kids.
He does. He comes to my house and just yells at my kids for no reason.
I cannot stand happy children.
He's like, hey, get away from me. This is my churro.
Yeah, get
I'm
off.
going to eat it in front of you.
Yeah, watch me eat this churro. Look, I brought an extra one. I'm too full for it. I'm going to eat it still.
I'm just going to throw it away.
Yeah, I'm going to throw it away. I'm peeing on the extra churro. You watching? Well, no, shouldn't watch that. Yep.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
We're kidding, by the way.
Yeah. Your kids still watch?
They're not on right now.
No, your kids are on, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well.
They are. Love you, Nash. Trace,
wait,
Seth.
Seth's my best drinking buddy.
Seth's birthday's on Friday.
I knew that. Of course. He's my best drinking buddy. Of course I knew. Let's see. After that, Shane, who's still in the ring. Half the show was Shane. So Shane comes back out and begins to make an announcement about Money in the Bank, and then Miz attacks him. BT then attacks the Miz. B-Team attacks the Miz, and then Shane hits Miz with a chair. And it's the whole, like, what kind of man hits a man with a chair?
Rich man, apparently.
Oh, Nash keeps waving at the TV, and he gets mad we don't wave back. Well, you gotta let us know, Nash. Nash! Nash! Ah! There you go. Yeah, again, I'm not excited about that segment. I was actually pretty upset because it sounded like he was going to do a thing with the belt or with the Money in the Bank briefcase, which I guess is what they want, right? They want you to want to know what he wants to say and then take it away anyways, so they can get to it again later. I was hoping where he was going with it was going to say that typically or historically you have the title or the championship match for your brand. You bring it back to your brand, but I was hoping he was going to say these ones are wild card ones, right? You can take these to any brand.
Yeah.
Then that can make it very interesting when someone wins it. They can show up on either brand whenever. Yeah. So I'm hoping that's where they go with it. I'm hoping maybe they hit that next week, but instead we're going to continue with the Shane and Miz thing, which is old and tired.
And that's, I think that's what they are going with the wild card. Whoever wins it, Mustafa Ali will show up on Raw and, hey, I'm here. I don't think he's going to win.
I don't want him to win it.
I don't think he is either, but here's the first one that came to mind after Randy Orton. And I know you don't want me to mention Randy Orton again. Trace?
Let's see. What do we got here? Yeah, I think that's what they'll do with those. I hope so, and I think you can make it a lot more interesting. I wish that because of the wild card things they were doing, that they made it more impactful this time around, right? Make it seem less like a weird thing we just came up with, and more like let's make it even. I mean, let's say it is. Let's say last second they're like, all right, we're effed to bring everyone over. I don't know what to do. Give someone like the tag team a title, and now you've got a really interesting future with it that doesn't even have to take up a lot of your TV time. Yeah. But it makes it go, oh my God, this is going to make a difference immediately. Yeah. Where right now we're like, okay, it's not making a difference. So after that, Dan O'Brien says that they need to fix up the belts, so we may get organic tag team belts, which will be very nice. It'll be easy to Uzi hot those. I'm imagining that's the sound of the schmear of Uzi hot onto the back of the titles.
No, it's not.
Where's that one? No? All right, cheers to Uzi hot.
Remind me of Gene Belcher.
This is a little fart machine?
Yeah.
After that, so he says that, and they walk up to Heavy Machinery, who then cut a silent promo. Yeah. They whispered to each other, and then at one point just started talking to each other without much sound, but the mics were on. Mm-hmm. So you could hear them being like, let's go get a cheeseburger. Yeah. And suddenly they're wearing denim vests and jeans. I hope that's their new ring attire. The Canadian tuxedo for the old steaks and weights.
Yeah.
Probably much harder to Uzi hot those, guys.
Be cool if they had like A1 stains on there.
Yeah, mustard stains and stuff. Yeah. Make it gnarly, dude. Yeah. Luke Harper, help him out. You're sweaty and weird.
Wanted his release.
Yeah, sure, you can have that, but you can help the guys on your way out, man. Yeah. I support both sides.
Professional thing to do.
Yeah, show them how to messy up their gear. Let's see. After that, we have Ember Moon and Carmella against Fire and Desire. This is notable because all week long on the social media platforms, they had been advertising Bayley, Carmella, Ember versus Charlotte, Mandy, Sonya. Okay. That's what they've been mentioning. And I want to say last week they mentioned it briefly too. Next week you're going to see this. This week they made no mention to Bayley and Charlotte being removed from the match. Also, the night before, or even maybe it was earlier that same day, Carmella sent out a tweet talking about how excited she was to finally tag with Bayley again. Because Baymella was a tag team in NXT and my best friend, all that stuff. So I was excited about the thing. And then without mention or any reasoning, they just pull them out. My theory, because Mandy ends up getting the win over Ember Moon in a good match. Yeah. They all performed very well. It seemed a little bit like a surprising victory, but maybe it shouldn't have because they've been pushing Mandy well. Yeah. And she's got the Money in Bank to look forward to and all of that. Paige ended up coming out with Asuka and Kairi Sane and challenged them next week for Fire and Desire. And so my theory is perhaps they removed Bayley and Charlotte from the match so they could stay the match focused on the tag team division specifically by showing two potential tag teams, or Fire and Desire being a solid tag team and two different people matched up, much like they did with Boss and Hug Connection. Yeah.
But then it's weird because I don't think they made any kind of reference to the Iconics.
No. No reference to the Iconics or the titles.
Belts or, And it's like...
For the best.
Yeah. Well, at least mention the titles. If Paige came out there and said, hey...
Oh, yeah. This is on our road.
We need a warm-up match before we go to the titles next week. We're challenging you guys. Mm-hmm. Maybe.
Yeah. We want to get ready.
I thought that was weird with Roman not being on the actual show and then...
The Iconics not being on it.
Not so much not being on it, but even with the women tag teams out there that they really never mentioned the titles.
They don't.
Tag titles.
And the Iconics didn't show up on Raw either. I will say, though, they did show up something off air. I saw something about it. They came out and talked shit to the audience, I think, during Smackdown and left. It was untelevised.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, still.
Still, the televised audience deserves to know what's happening to a degree, right? So there is stuff you always give the non-televised audience, the real people there. But
that was another thing, speaking of the televised audience and stuff like that, is in the opening segment, when they talked about the wild card rule, you could tell the crowd didn't like it.
They were confused.
Yeah.
But so was everyone else.
Yeah, but I heard a lot of boos in there.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know...
Speaking of booze, cheers.
Is that the Wrestling on the Rocks word of the day?
Could be booze. It says that Tristan showed up. I can't tell if Jishi means that Tristan's with him or if Tristan also logged in. I will say this, if Tristan has not logged in to follow us, you should. Tristan. All you have to do is let me in.
Lost in the moment.
Anyways.
Back to booze.
Back to the booze. Yeah, the wild card thing's not going over well, I don't think. But yeah, removing the Bayley and Charlotte, I think it's because Bayley and Charlotte are such strong singles competitors, and they're kind of involved in the singles competitor storylines right now. I think if they had been put in a match, it might have drawn away or split the focus. I think they're trying to build Fire and Desire as the new big tag team, along with Asuka Kari.
Yeah, but it's weird that, you know, Bayley or Charlotte were on the show at all. You know,
Yeah, Charlotte was nowhere to be. Bayley was nowhere to be seen.
Charlotte doesn't say anything.
Becky nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, and then Bayley, who's also in the Money in the Bank, you know, have her commentate.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna be, you know, I want to watch my competition. These women are also gonna be in Money in the Bank. You know, let me talk. You know, something.
100%. I agree. I agree 100%. But they were just absent, and that was a bummer. You know, I mean, they're two of my favorites, obviously. And then Paige coming out and translating for Asuka and Kari Sane was a little bit weird. But then challenges for a match next week.
Kari Sane randomly.
She just spins that thing? I hate that stuff, man. Clump likes it. Where's Clump to defend Kari Sane, you idiot?
It just made me laugh. That, you know,
She's just...
Yeah, I don't know if she knows when to do it, but...
Yeah.
And then just sits there.
I'm just not...
But I don't like that prop at all.
Don't like the prop, don't like the gimmick. Look, I don't know, man. And then their entrance...
She needs like a Velveteen Dream entrance.
They came out with Paige's music, didn't they?
So, yeah. It's just a boat.
Velveteen Dream boat for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they came out to Paige's music, so they don't even like do their stupid mesh together thing, which went horribly. Maybe they're just trying to figure out what the F to do with them right now. How do you... I mean, we know where they're going, but how do you package them together cohesively?
Yokozuna's.
That's fucked up.
Is it not obvious that that's already what they did?
It is. I was trying to think. I spent a long time putting it comes out with. The reason it says Paige comes out with is because I was trying to think of like a horrible, horrible name to give them. I'll get one. It'll come to me.
The Twin Bombers?
The Torah twins? Well, my son's Jewish. They can't possibly Jewish, I don't think. But I don't know. Either way, I support.
The Far East Movement? Oh wait, that's a group.
Is that the group?
It is a group of rappers.
Really?
Remember, like a G6? Like a G6.
That's it?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's their name, Far East Movement.
All right, so Asuka and Kari Sane could be the G6.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. All right, we're getting there. Let's see. After that, Matt Hardy and R-Truth have a promo with Lars Sullivan.
Which is kind of weird.
It was really weird, and Lars shows up. I did like Kayla Braxton. I did like that she got super scared and was like trying to stay within him, and just finally goes like, "Fuck it," and just ducks out.
And then it was weird because Matt Hardy's just like, there he is.
Yeah, he did the old Mr. Miz.
Yeah.
Shasham, shasham. Yeah, he should have rolled up his sleeves too. Lars knew what was good for him. You wouldn't want to get one of these.
Look here, Sonny.
Yeah. Hope you're hungry, Lars, for a couple of knuckle sandwiches.
They were just last 4 years.
Yeah, they're just plummeting.
But yeah, I don't know. It was just weird. There he is, and then he stays like that, and then Truth turns around. Yeah.
Maybe Matt Hardy's been taking fighting lessons from Mr. Miz.
Maybe.
And then Lars does that cool pop-up power bomb into the table for R-Truth, which is cool. But ultimately, I don't want to see R-Truth versus Lars Sullivan. I don't want to see Matt and R-Truth in a handicap against Lars Sullivan. Yeah. I'd like to see. I mean, I guess there's something to be noted for the idea that R-Truth is not backing down. Mm-hmm. Like he's trying. He doesn't give a shit. He's like, fuck this dude. So I guess that aspect is cool. But I'd like to see him show up with some like real hard hitters.
Mm-hmm. At first, I thought they were gonna team up Matt and Truth.
I thought
the leader of worlds. They'll be the hardcore Truth.
I don't know. The leaders of Truth? Well, they're gonna be liars.
Yeah.
They're gonna be liars. But I mean, if Matt Hardy goes Big Money Matt, then you can be like Big Money Truth.
Yeah, but I don't know.
But then Truth's gonna need more jewelry. Truth Volume 2, whatever he did. Version 2. After that, Aleister Black cuts a promo about sins that came off very preachy. He goes, I will take from you. So Aleister Black has a hairball issue that he needs to have resolved.
With the K. He's got the hard K.
The hard K.
The hard K. Fade to black. Sounds like Max Kellerman.
Yeah, Max Kellerman covering up his own farts with a cough. You guys are familiar with ESPN and covering your own farts with a cough?
No.
I did tweet it out, so follow my Twitter. You'll find it on there. Max Kellerman farts on ESPN. Way to cover it up, Max. Clump blaming his fart last week on me. We all know that was him. His asshole was mic'd. Mine wasn't.
Yeah, he has 2 mics.
Yeah, he's got the Uzi hot mic. Continuing on. I'm not totally into whatever Aleister Black is doing right now. I do like the nature of his promos. I don't know where they're going.
I don't think they know what to do with him. They built up him and Ricochet as a nice tag team, and right when I finally started getting behind them,
they split them up.
Split,
yeah, the shakeup. But luckily, there's a wild card now.
Yeah, the shakeup.
So they could just wild card each other's show every effing week, and we're back to where we were before.
Yeah. And that would have at least been cool with the tag belts.
That's true.
If Ricochet comes over, Aleister, they win them, and there's a belt on each show.
Yeah, they're not always on each show.
Yeah.
I believe that'd be the wild card rule.
The hard K get you.
Yeah, that hard K will get you every time. After that, we had AJ versus Sammy versus Kofi. I just wrote down incredible. The match was absolutely perfect. It was so good from each person, and I was really looking at Sammy because I'm a big Sammy fan, and we haven't seen him in the ring too much.
I thought he was going to win for a second.
Oh my God, dude, they made you believe he could. Yeah, he did 3 Blue Thunder bombs, right?
Especially that last one where Kofi's pinned, and he's like, looks like he was in a car wreck.
Yeah, and his eyes are just like, barely, they almost look like they're swollen shut, and he's just like trying to look, just to like, and then he just rolls, kicks out, and it was like, it was absolutely incredible. So much so that Michelle, who's doesn't have the history we have with it, looked at it and she goes, "Oh my God, he looked half dead. That's how you sell a move." Yeah. And then they did the replay and she goes, "Look at his eyes, look at his eyes," and he's just like, like I thought Sammy was gonna win it. And in those moments, I thought Sammy was gonna win it. I thought, well, I could be behind the Sammy win on that. Not just because I've always wanted Sammy to win the title, but You get a good Sammy win like that over Kofi. Sammy and Kofi can go.
Yeah.
You have KO in the mix because he came out and semi-interfered and stuff. You can have New Day, KO, Sammy, and you could have a hell of a rivalry there. And I think they still could build that. But there was a moment where I thought Sammy would be a really good piece of shit heel. As a champion, oh my God, everyone wants to see that champion get his ass kicked.
Well, yeah, and then I thought KO was actually going to leave the ramp.
Yeah.
And go, no disqualifications. They said 100 times.
Yeah. No DQ, no DQ.
Yeah, go in there and finish it off.
Do something, yeah.
Help your best friend, which they mentioned again, win the championship, and then,
Yeah, and it didn't happen. Still great. Yeah, I definitely got to a point where I was believing they were going to give it to Sammy, and I was getting excited and concerned and everything. I did think there was a bit of a weirdness where they did the three blue thunder bombs, and after that, Sammy goes to hype up for the haluva kick, and they really didn't play that up.
Yeah.
They're like Sammy in his corner.
Yeah.
Like,
here it goes.
Yeah, and then it was like Sammy's waiting on Kofi, and then he goes for the haluva kick, and Kofi does the SOS, or no, Trouble in Paradise, as Sammy's going for the haluva kick, and they really, perfectly. Those two dudes are on point, and with AJ too. Like I'm not trying to discredit AJ in that match. AJ was absolutely perfect in there too. Those three people, that could have been a Mania match for sure.
The only thing I didn't like is that AJ was out of it for the last 5 minutes.
There was a bit of a long run with him not in there, but it does play into how big Trouble in Paradise kick is, especially if you don't see it coming.
Well, I wouldn't have mind, the kick out at 3, the breakout at 3. Ref hits 3, AJ pushes him off, and then ref says,
"Yeah, match
it's
is over."
Yeah,
I could see that. AJ's just getting up and trying to get into the ring, like, no. Yeah. I can't believe, that'd have been good, but he was out. Yeah, definitely out. See him I wonder if they're going to go with the Sammy Kofi thing, which I'd prefer Sammy Kofi versus Sammy Braun.
Yeah, but Sammy's on Raw.
Wild card, bro. Wild card, bro.
I hate that there's so much good talent on the roster, and they just want to showcase the same few people.
Kofi had no business on Raw, but I will say that Sammy and Kofi together, I think, would be a hell of a rivalry.
Oh yeah, I think so too.
Especially think about the way they both do promos, dude.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Ugh. Guys, please email your governor. Write letters to the president. We need Kofi, Sammy, all year.
You're supposed to tweet the president.
You tweet the president. Yeah.
I guess
that would be amazing. But yeah, Kofi gets the win in a match where at first I thought when they said triple threat, I was like, oh shit, they can't have him lose this.
Yeah.
And I was like, but that seems like the perfect time to do it.
Yeah.
And then once AJ was out and it was just Sammy and Kofi, I was like, okay, obviously Kofi's got to get the win on this. And then it got to a point where it was like, I don't know, man. Like, I think it could be amazing. Their back and forth would be
because it was so predictable. The outcome was so predictable.
Yeah.
But for a while there, they did make you think, Sammy's got a chance.
Oh yeah.
The blue power bomb or thunder bombs, that's an amazing move.
I love it.
I love it.
It looks so good.
No one else does it. No one else really has a move like that. Kind of spin a little. I mean, Lars does kind of the pop up, sit down, but.
What's the one that Falcon Arrow is one Seth does?
Yeah, but he hasn't done that in a while.
He hasn't done it in a while, and it's more of like a scoop up power bomb.
But that's always like a
part of a
sequence of moves.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. I'm behind it. I'm not on mine.
Oh.
Hey, producer, are we online over there? Everything I'm seeing says we're good. Are we good over there? Great. That went well.
It says live.
Oh, just she says we here.
Yeah.
Oh, we're about to get yelled at. Oh, you fell asleep?
We're not that bad, are we?
Oh my God, we put our producer to sleep, literally asleep. All right, well,
yeah.
Follow, follow and watch us and stay awake if you can. That's the challenge, really.
If not,
if you can get to the end of it awake,
if not,
we'll give you a chip.
Yeah, if not, fall asleep, just keep us on.
Yeah, fall asleep to us. We're really good to help people doze. We just drift away.
We need talking more, was it melody?
Yeah, melodic.
Yeah. Voices.
Yeah, melodious voices, melodious.
Yeah. This week on Wrestling on the Rocks.
On Wrestling on the Raw.
Yeah. If we help you fall asleep, you're welcome.
Yeah, no, we are here for
when
you.
OPM doesn't do it.
Yeah,
Wrestling on the
Benadryl is shit. We're Benadryl on the rocks too, guys. Wrestling on the Benadryl. Whatever you guys need, we're here for you. We support our viewership on any level. Without wrapped up SmackDown, I will say SmackDown had more highlights than Raw. I will say
with
that
an hour less.
And I will say that AJ Sammy Kofi was one that I would tell people they should be watching.
Yeah.
If you want, especially people who are probably sitting around who not as familiar with Sami Zayn, especially new viewers, what makes Sami Zayn so good? Watch this match, man. Like, I think Sami and Kofi going back and forth promo-wise would be just absolute magic.
Yeah.
Like, who else is better? You know? Who could you put out there one-on-one with Kofi who's going to stand up and make people hate them? You know what I mean? Like,
well, Kevin Owens is doing a pretty good job of it.
Well, yeah, it's hard to discount Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
Kevin Owens is incredible. You put Kevin and Sammy back together, then you got New Day. Who?
And see, with the whole wild card thing, it could lead to suspensions.
Yeah,
you know
absolutely.
what I mean? Like, they're helping each other out. They're on different brands, but
that's true.
Another angle, I'm fishing for this wild card.
reason. Make it worth it.
Come on, help, but
help me to help you. Help me to help you.
But
old Scrubs. No Scrubs. Help me to help you.
No.
Me to help you. Scrubs. It's Scrubs. Yeah.
I believe you. TLC?
Yeah. No, we do want Scrubs. We do want Scrubs.
No Scrubs.
We do want Scrubs.
AEW news?
AEW, I know there was a pretty significant back and forth between Cody and Jericho, where Jericho's been talking some mad shit, saying you're not my boss, and Cody's like, I don't think Jericho understands that I'm his boss. And then Jericho starts to call him Cody Khan, which is kind of funny. He's like, the Khans are my boss.
Yeah.
Outside of that, they signed Angelico, I read, from Lucha Underground. Mm-hmm. He's kind of a Will Ospreay type.
Like a full contract, or?
It sounded like it.
Okay. How much is he getting paid?
Yeah, I don't know. But they,
where's
who was
Combat
it?
When we need him?
Was it JR said on one of his shows that there were some like non-utilized rosters guys that they were offering over $500,000 to just to keep them.
Really?
A year downside. Guys like Rhino and stuff. Rhino left. He's officially gone.
I didn't know.
Yeah, he officially left. He did not resign. He said they offered him an awful lot, 300 something plus.
Just to sit in the back and
just to hang out. But he left ultimately not under the belief that he's going to go make more, but under the hope that he can help young talent grow.
Okay.
So I wonder also if they had offered him a performance center position, if he would have stayed with the company.
Is he gone with the company altogether? Or?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So he's going to do indie stuff, and he wants to help the young talent grow. So it makes me wonder. Yeah, I wonder if he'd been offered performance center, if he would have stayed, or if he was like, they have enough help. I really want to help those who are having a harder time, because especially where he came from.
Yeah.
You know.
Michigan, right?
Philly. ACW.
Oh yeah. Oh no, he's running for office in Michigan.
Yeah, I think that's where he lives now.
Yeah.
But his ECW upbringing. Apart from that, I didn't see anything else.
Clump, any shirts?
I think Clump logged out. I think he stopped watching us because he's a scumbag. Well, it shows that he's logged in, sorta. He maybe fell asleep. You're welcome. We put Clump to sleep as well. But yeah, as far as any of that other stuff goes, I didn't see a lot. There's been a lot of talk about Leo Rush. There's been a lot of talk about Sasha Banks and her continued absence. I don't know. I want the best for both of them. So whatever happens, happens, I guess.
Yeah.
Trying to think what else I saw. There was a little bit about AEW making Double or Nothing available for pay-per-view. I even saw someone say that they actually have pre-ordered it.
Oh, really?
It doesn't appear to be on the Fight app. So it does seem to be a pay-per-view, like through your Dish or something. So do you have Dish? You don't have Dish. None of us have Dish. So if anyone's got Dish, let us know what the cost is. I'm just curious. I don't have Dish or a way to watch it, apparently. I will be in Vegas, so if I can get tickets for less than it would be to watch on pay-per-view, I'll do it. I'll pull the trigger on that one, maybe. But mostly because of Dustin Rhodes, to be honest. Dusty versus Cody, I want to see that. Apart from that, I don't know anything else that was really going on.
I don't think I heard anything.
There's some new Sami Zayn shirts in the custom shop that say, like, Happier Without You. There's a few of them. They're really good, yeah. Let me see if I can pull them up real quick. But Sami Zayn's custom shirts were good. Happier Without You, It's Not Me, It's You, and Take Back the Power were the new ones that he's got. Take Back the Power, It's Not Me, It's You, It's Definitely You. Anywhere But Here. Happier Without You. Happier Without You. Yeah, really heelish stuff on that. Funny to me. I'm into it. That's really cool. They changed the picture to be that. Because it was him smiling with a hat for a long time. Now he's just like...
He looks like a mugshot.
Yeah, just total mugshot. Like, they did finally release on the WWE shop the ECW World Title, the white-backed winged eagle, Daniel Bryan's belt, and then the Ric Flair tribute belt. What I thought was funny about the Daniel Bryan belt is they had it for 25% off the other day, so it was down by $100. Still at $300, I was like, nah, I can't do it. If they brought it down to $150, I think it would sell out. They said they were only going to make like 50, and they're still for sale. They can't sell 50 of these things because they're asking for so much. But apart from that, there's nothing else that I know that we need to hit on. Unless there's anything else you can think of.
Stuff in my head.
Anything you guys have questions about? Anything anybody want to know? Looks like Jishi was the last one to say something. Otherwise, I think we're going to go ahead and make last call. We didn't see Stackhouse this time. It's a bummer. He was the one in the running for...
fan since day one-ish.
Yeah, day one-ish fan token. But we do appreciate you guys tuning in. Tell your friends. Tell your enemies.
Tell your boss.
Tell the bodega clerk. Hey, just follow these guys. Turn off notifications. It's fine. We're just looking... Sleep. Yeah, we're good at putting everyone to sleep. Not a big deal. But we'll see you next time, an hour after NXT. Actually, maybe. We might be having a different format next week. I'll be in San Diego, it looks like. So our format may be a little bit different, but we're going to try and still put something on for you guys. So I hope you guys come in. Thank you guys very much. Cheers. L'chaim. Last call.